always shown interest from, I think, when I started with Ajax. I think the curiosity of the coach's job was always there. Talking with Louis van Gaal many times, looking at how he was doing things. And I think that the moment it really got to me consciously when I decided to do my course, which was almost the end of my career, I could get into detail how each coach has done his job, in my opinion and in my experience with them. That means that I was really always interested, and that went way back to my first years in Ajax. I was always considered a coach in the field by many. My collaboration with the coaches have been very close over, practically my whole career with most of the coaches. An extension of it, and then I said, it's just, I think it's a matter of character and yeah, probably leadership, quality, tactical interest, and interest for the persons, the players. Many times there are conflicts that have to be solved. There are issues on a personal level that need to be supported, and I think all these things, and not only from players, the staff, and I've been quite present in most of these conversations and most of these moments of solving things and proposing things, and I think that when you look at what coaches need to deal with, it's very broad, and either you want to deal with it, and most of the times you don't have really a choice then to deal with it, and if you don't, then it could create some backlashes in other ways. So I think really the management of all these aspects that are off the field are as important as what you do on the field. The credibility, I bring because of my past as a player is one thing, but we have many managers that we've seen that didn't had a great career as players, but fantastic capacity in managing people and motivating the team and have great basic knowledge of the game. I've always had something with Brazil, with Brazilians, but living a country is very special, and I've been very privileged from a young age to travel around the world. When I was in Ajax, we went to Belgium, Germany, France. I mean, at the age of 10, 11, 12, that is invaluable experience that creates the capacity to adapt, to understand, to have tolerance for what you don't know, what is different, different food. And when I went to Brazil, it was, first of all, I wanted to still play football. And I think they definitely play football in Brazil. And also to really live the country. And I got it all and more, because it was a moment of practically going back into my youth, in the position that I played when I was in the youth, with that freedom, with that kind of creativity, with that kind of appreciation of playing football, and then also the relation with the coach was fantastic. I actually participated from a certain point in the staff, doing a lot of work with the analytical team, doing individual analysis, game analysis, discussing things. So I was really in the kitchen this time, participating. And then, as I said, I did my course where that practical part I did with a club in Rio as well. So I trained, and then I went with the guys on the 16, 17 training with them. And then I had my process of the course on the theoretical part. They would come for a week, and we would do then our sessions, and then Um, I think every 2 months I would go to Holland. It was quite tough physically, but it was a commitment. I knew that something would come potentially soon, because the conversations with the president Berlusconi when I left Milan was that you prepare yourself, and of course nobody thought it would have been that fast, but it was, instead of maybe 5 years later, it was only 2 years later. But he said, prepare yourself, look around, see if you see some good talents in Brazil, and that's how we left each other. And then we've been in touch during my stay, and that was that possibility there, which he expressed. So I said, let me prepare myself. I've had over 20 years of career. I'm very satisfied with what I've done. I would be able to play more because I have the passion for the game. I could go and play today still, if it is just for the fact that the joy of going on the field, training. It was no stress, no pressure for me, and for a long time I have to say. That's why I could play also for such a long time. 2 years later, the call came, and it was almost a natural thing for me to accept, first of all, because of the relationship with Berlusconi and also with the club. I mean, and the moment they were in, and my conviction that I knew how to solve the issues there were. So yeah, it was a very interesting process to have been able to prepare myself in Brazil on all these facets. Playing, being like an assistant in the coaching staff, and then also having an own team seems a lot, but for me it was really like a natural process, because things just fell in place in a natural way. I would like to know the coaches that are not making mistakes anymore, even if they have 20 years experience, first of all. Secondly, I think that the best environment, or the environment I know best, is at the highest level. And not in the youth, not in the second division, third division. What I know is the highest level. So that is a very natural step to take if you feel prepared, if you have the competence, if you have the confidence. And well, I felt that I had all of that, and I didn't felt lost when I came in. I had very clear ideas on how I wanted to do things, and I think that has also to do with talent. We have examples. Capello jumped from one day to another on the bench of AC Milan as well, and Guardiola, how long did he work really in the youth? I mean, he was put in and then we have others as well. I think it's really a matter of because the experience. If we look at what is needed to say that a coach has experience, then we talk about how many games has he coached, how many hours has he been coaching. That is experience that can only gain by doing it, obviously. But knowing what you want, how you want to play, how you want to manage, having clear all the things that comes with coaching, that is not set to have that even after 10 years. I mean, there are coaches, we have examples of guys who started, and after 5-6 years, they said, I'm actually more confused now than when I started. When I did my course, I also got very positive feedback in that sense, that everything was crystal clear. The things that I wanted, how I want to create a cohesive team, how I want to work on the individual, how I want to collaborate with the people of the club.